If you grew up around the 90s or early 2000s, you may have experienced the internet's early ages when restrictions on content weren't that harsh yet, and anyone could explore their dearest and wildest imagination on the World Wide Web. For me, I grew up with the early years of YouTube and Newgrounds. I would religiously watch Smosh, Angry Video Game Nerd, Red vs. Blue, and Edgeworld. In the early internet days, anime shorts and memes became a hot topic, and we see a huge rise in creepy subjects like creepypasta.
What the fucking fuck?
However, around 2007, it's still kind of a rarity to see anything animated released online that tackles any serious topics. But that's why I want to explore the online animator, HotDiggedyDemon. Max Gelati, also known as HotDiggedyDemon, started to post his animations on Newgrounds around 2003. I remember a lot about his old and edgy animated shorts like Religious Day Out, Fazbear and Friends, and Isabella Ruins Everything. They are not the best age shorts, but I remember that these were my first forte into adult animation. Nowadays, he's most well known for his talk-esque animated series Brain Dump, a show I actually quite enjoy. Now, I won't get into depth about HotDiggedyDemon's career, but I wanted to focus on the animated series that he created that made me look into a different perspective of online animations that were more than just telling funny stories, and that's Jerry. Jerry was originally released on Newgrounds on the 21st of June 2007 to immense praise with a rating of 4.65 out of 5 and gaining over 600,000 views, which at the time was extremely high. This short is pretty simple in concept. We follow a person named Jerry as we follow his daily routine every day. To say that it's unexciting is an understatement. It is pretty boring and nothing really happens besides a few encounters. However, due to a series of unfortunate events, it would eventually lead to his. This short was sort of ahead of its time, since you wouldn't normally see a coherent and pretty depressing topic in animation shorts like this on the internet, making it stand out against the catalogs of short funny animations. Now, due to the popularity of Jerry, he would create sequels and prequels to this short, reaching the final conclusion of the series on November 1st, 2009 with its 5th episode. So, now that I have explained what the series is about and its history a bit, I think it's time to dig down to the context and analyze each episode to see why I think it's one of the saddest online animations about life. In the opening scene, we see Jerry sitting on his bed at night. Not sure what he's doing up this late, but probably pondering about life, like what most people would do at this time, unless they're on the 3rd losing streak on rank.
You guys are so shit! Like, you guys are so shit!
He looks towards the moon and smiles. He probably thinks that everything will be okay. As he wakes up, we see him go through his usual routine. Take a shower, eat breakfast, drive to work, drive back home, watch TV, and head to sleep. And that's it. We see this routine happening every day. As the cycle continues on, we might as well just have a look around his house for a bit. His room is so plain and boring. It only consists of an alarm clock, trash can, dresser, and a bed that doesn't have sheets. Why, are you a fucking monster? Nothing screams personality or excitement or anything really. Even his cereal is so standard, like what the fuck, it's crisp. But the thing is, do we have the right to criticize this person for being who he is? Just because he lives a boring life that's comfortable for him? I don't know yet. It's best if we just keep going. Later on in the short, we get introduced to a new character, Jackie, a goth girl that's pretty similar in age with Jerry. And my man Jerry starts to use what the kids call Riz. Yeah, it doesn't go well with him. But you know what he does? He just moves on like nothing happened. But then Jackie comes back to him and they sex. They fuck. they bang. They coitus each other. There's a Big Bang Theory here. There's one interaction after this between them where Jackie pushes Jerry's hand away. and we see Jerry take a small pause, most likely thinking, what type of woman did I just sleep with? Later on, you see Jackie stealing money from him. Even after discovering that it's missing, Jerry moves on and returns to his regular routine. He meets another gal that also steals from him from the exact same spot. The next thing you know, he gets so drunk that his license has been revoked for a bit and takes the bus. Even when he gets back his license, what does he do after? Goes back to his normal routine. Even when he gets back with Jackie and gets robbed again and gets shocked again. What the fuck? He most likely puts it back to its normal spot. I think most people would stop caring about Jerry, but to me, I think the reason he didn't just move his wallet to another spot, it's because he doesn't want it to change. Sure, it's annoying, but it's just the way he wants it to be. However, it doesn't help that the previous woman he had relations with went back to him because she had a baby, suggesting that the sequence we have been seeing took place over a course of 9 months. I think this is one of my favorite aspects about this short, because you never realize how much time and days you spend doing the exact same thing. Now because his routine is broken because of the baby, he has to go through this unknown territory that becomes too much for him. There's a pause in between his repetitive and chaotic routine. It's probably the most depressing scene thus far. It's the same scene as in the opening intro, but there's a whole new meaning now. A man that wants to give up and lose all hope. A man that can't take it anymore. The sequence of routines keep going until... One thing that stood out to me was the alarm clock. It read 6 o'clock. The timer usually goes off, but not this time, suggesting that he planned ahead. He wanted to end his routine. This short is so beautifully done about a guy with a simple routine that falls apart when a series of events disrupt it, causing him to spiral out of control. Its concept is simple, but its execution is done so well, with its fast-paced montage scenes, its depressingly great use of time passing by, and its quiet yet destructive ending. Little Jerry takes place on the night of Halloween, and we get introduced to Jerry's dad, an old and bald person. Ew! We also get to see little Jerry, and obviously he's mind blown by this book. Ooh! After reading, his dad forbids him from trick-or-treating and wants him to get some sleep. However, there's one thing he forgot to mention.
Oh, and whatever you do, don't go near the closet of unimaginable psychological torment.
Jerry's father is a very odd character. Despite him saying that he loves him, he removes his nightlight and locks his door. It's a clear sign that Jerry throughout his childhood is very restricted with what he can do or have access to due to his father not trusting him, and he even uses a Stephen King book to create this fear factor of his world, creating this childhood paranoia for Jerry in the future. Jerry, still awake, sees the closet. As a child, you are always curious about your surroundings, and without Jerry's father being in the room, he has this moment of freedom to do what he wants, and decides to go for it. There's an immediate shock to Jerry, but once he starts to calm down and realize what he's looking at, he actually likes it. He starts to become more comfortable with this, and he keeps opening it. Now, I have a few theories as to what this could mean. It's either that Jerry likes the thrill of something this exciting that he's witnessing in his life. I mean, growing up for me, I witnessed the early ages of the internet and how thrilling it was to type anything on Google, playing those built-in Windows games, and remembering the first time I watched those videos. It was really exciting to be a kid back then, and I think with Jerry he loves it and he's excited that this thrill will keep happening in his life. It also could represent the sign of growing up. When he's first introduced to King's work, which of course is going to be disturbing, Jerry just doesn't know how to react. However, when Jerry takes the time opening and closing the closet door, he's able to better handle himself. His hair changes, he has a better perspective of this content, and he's more desensitized. And overall, he seems like he became a different person after this. Sure, you might see him as this fragile boy, but most likely on the inside, he's different now. After he's been caught and went back to his bed, with his dad criticizing his hair, like really criticized, Jesus Christ, he says this.
Oh, by the way, your mother and I are getting a divorce, and we're gonna put you up for adoption. So, yeah.
Yeah, not the type of thing you want to hear as a kid. This short shows a lot of things that Jerry had to endure as a kid. A dad who doesn't really love him or doesn't seem like this is the child that he desired, and how his father's actions would affect him when he grows up. As we see, he doesn't do anything exciting when he becomes an adult. It's not one of my favorites in the series, but I think it works well on telling how important our parents are in our childhoods and shaping us to become who we are as adults, whether they treat the kids well or not. Jackie starts off the same way the first show did, except the opening is before she met Jerry, and we see her doing a bit of heroin. We see the effects of heroin going through Jackie's system, with a huge emphasis on the bright and fast colors, showing the joy she feels when she takes it. Before she proceeds to have coitus, we see that she actually had a boyfriend. As she gets kicked out and wanders around, we see her go through encounters of sexual assault and robbery, and surprisingly she can handle herself, which could be a sad interpretation that Jackie has been through this before. As she takes another needle of heroin, she starts to feel uncomfortable. As a way to make money and get a place for herself, she decides to work as a stripper. She's doing a job that she does not want to do at all, but has to in order to survive. She feels embarrassed, only wearing a bikini and feeling ashamed of her body, not sure how the customers will react to her. But before she can even do that, she breaks her ankle. Despite trying to rest in the hospital, her peace of mind gets interrupted by a perverted man and gets assaulted. Her final result is working in a grocery store, and this is when she meets Jerry. Some of the scenes included came from the first Jerry short, matching the timeline. As Jackie starts to sort her life out, she feels like there's something missing in her life. As she takes another needle, we see the effects kicking in, but they aren't as effective anymore. Her only comfort is now gone. As she walks around, she tries to reconnect with Jerry, which you know where this leads to. Months later, she's now working as a train attendant, and we see a familiar face.
Hey, how you doing?
As her anger reaches to an all-time high, she starts beating Jerry's dad up. While she does this, flashbacks of her and Jerry starts appearing, reflecting on how she treated him and how she should have been the right fit for him, someone that would have cared and loved for her. This leads to her running out of the train and going to his house, passing by his wife and baby, but it's too late for her. And then the bitch robs him! Jesus Christ. The irony that nobody cares about Jerry's death is such a sad depiction and shows how unremarkable he has done for anybody to care. Like, what the fuck? Like, this short was a very interesting way of portraying an individual who has been through a lot. A world in which girls like her get victimized and have to result in protecting themselves and taking lots of drugs to cope, leading to a dark path in life. It's a sad reality that most women victims have to live through. Unlike Jerry, it initially seems like Jackie doesn't seem to care about how she progresses in life. As long as she has money and a roof under her head, she feels complete. But there's so much more than that. Underneath everything, she seems like someone who is lost in the world. But by the end of the short, she finally realizes what she wants: to feel loved again. In a world where she gets assaulted, robbed, and embarrassed by who she is, even as boring of a person Jerry is the most normal person Jackie has encountered and has treated her like another human being. Even Jerry giving her chances to make amends for her mistakes, like that doesn't happen often for her. In fact, if we go back to the Jerry short, it makes sense why Jackie hits him when he touches her, because that's where she's been groped many times, and it comes instinctively to hit the assaulter. Whilst Jackie's actions towards Jerry, especially robbing his fucking corpse, is messed up, we also understand what Jackie had to go through, where the world seems to keep punishing her and has no one to rely on besides herself. Now, before I continue on, I've kind of glanced over the animation of all of these episodes so far, so I should talk a bit more about it. Whilst I think the animation isn't the most spectacular we have seen before in other videos in my channel, especially the new animation that's been coming out in the recent few years, I think it serves its purpose of having the audience attention towards the story and not really worry about the animation quality. And maybe it's just me, because I've watched this series as a kid. I've grown to become quite fond of this style, just the nostalgia, when newground animators were just starting to emerge and still trying to figure out their own animation style, and that's what's being done here. In the next short, Junior, we switch perspectives again, but this time it's to Junior, Jerry's unexpected son. In the beginning, we see Jerry attempting to connect with his son, to no avail. 6 years later, after Jerry's death, Junior is shown as this arrogant and spoiled child. When Junior comes into the kitchen, he sees a letter from his mother telling him that he left him. Now, for any kid, this is heartbreaking, but for Junior,
She's gone? She's gone! I can do whatever I want! Awesome!
yeah, he doesn't really care. However, after creating a huge mess in the house, he realizes that he can't live by himself. Now the opposite has happened. Whilst Jerry experienced overprotection, Junior experiences neglect. This could really explain why Junior has this really awful attitude still as a child. Although, it is hinted that he was born that way as well, so, you know, whatever, I guess. Now, instead of finding his mom on the internet, he decides to find his granddad, aka Jerry's dad. When Junior visits him, things don't go off too well.
What? You're my grandpa! Yeah, right.
However, Junior finds a way to live with him. Yeah, I'm gonna censor that. That doesn't fly by here on YouTube. I want to get paid. After 2 weeks of living with him, his granddad had enough of him and keeps referring that he isn't his grandpa, to which Junior argues against him.
Okay, look, you crashed here for 2 weeks, now it's time for you to hit the road. Make me a grilled cheese sandwich! Oh yeah, that's not getting old.
Suddenly, Jerry's dad proceeds to rant about his life, getting his money stolen from his drawer.
I've ever had sex with the stolen cash out of my wallet, yet I can't remember to put it in a different drawer.
Working at a dead-end job, not getting recognition.
I work at a job I hate to make money for other people, and nobody ever gives me any thanks.
Nothing exciting happening, something very similar to Jerry's life. However, something strange happens afterwards.
No, you're stupid. You're stupid! You're stupid! You're stupid!
Instead of beating him after he got punched, he remembered an incident not too long ago.
Let me tell you, your dad, he was just such a Every day he was belly aching. Huh? Really? Oh yeah, total wuss. Daddy, I scraped my knee.
He actually connects with Junior by talking shit about Jerry, even not caring about his death, and they form a bond together. I don't know why, but in some strange way, he's trying again to raise a family. Something that I would have some thoughts about once we get into the last short. As Junior gets ready for bed and his granddad leaves the room, there's one last thing he says.
Oh, by the way, stay away from that closet.
Well, this was an interesting short. Instead of this being again a depressing ending like the rest has been, this was sort of a hopeful ending. Junior at the start is a neglected kid. He fears that nobody loves him, and that's why he has this angry attitude all the time. But when he starts connecting to his granddad, things start to look up for him. He finally feels that love that he never got the chance to experience. And Jerry's dad, knowing that he had failed once on raising Jerry, he has this deeper anger in himself where he doesn't like kids and never could connect with one. Which again, having this terrible attitude, but in the end is finally resolved, and he feels like he finally became a parent he wanted to be. I think whilst the jokes don't land, this short is done very well with its purpose, and it's close to being my favorite. In the opening scene, we see what appears to be Jerry inside a room. As the heart beats, we see flash forwards of Jerry's life repeating over and over and over again. This idea suggests that Jerry's life never really ends. Even if he passes away, he will repeat the same life cycle again. After that, we see adult Jerry in hell. Like any kid, Jerry couldn't fall asleep because of the nightmare, but instead of his dad helping him in any way, he acts like it's some sort of event.
He dyed his hair or something.
He dyed his hair? Why would he dye his hair?
I have no idea. Don't acknowledge it or anything, he probably just wants attention.
Finally, we get introduced to the mother, Joanne, an older but much more mature woman than Jerry's dad. Out of everyone in the whole series, she seems like she actually cared about Jerry. She isn't trying to blame Jerry because of the divorce or anything. There's no one to blame except themselves because of their relationship. And despite some speculation that maybe she didn't plan his birth, she still tries to be a mother to him, and that's really beautiful. She reassures Jerry that he's gonna have a better life, which is probably the first instance of Jerry experiencing something at least positive out of this whole disaster of a situation. However, that gets ruined right after.
Okay, everybody out in the car, let's go, people!
After Jerry and his mom gets out of the house, an argument erupts over Jerry's toy that leads to an unfortunate fate.
Will you stop being such a jackass? There's no reason he can't keep this thing. It's completely harmless.
Yeah, she fucking dies. The one other person that Jerry cares about led to her cause of death. Jesus Christ, Driving back after the funeral, there's this awkward silence in the car. So, to break up the silence, Jerry's dad tries to retract his statement about putting him into an orphanage. However, this silence is still present and begins to break his dad's mentality and lashes at Jerry.
I don't get you. You're so weird. Why, Jerry? Why are you so weird? I know you like to do your whole self-pity thing. I'm a victim, oh woe is me, my life is so terrible. Yeah, I get it. But let me tell you something, pal. You're not the only one in this world who has stuff to deal with. I never asked to be a dad. I had things I wanted to do.
It's clear that Jerry's dad regrets having a child. It took away his freedom he once had. But even when Jerry was born, he wants to try and be the best at being a father.
When I first found out I was gonna have a son, I was so excited. Someone I could teach to play baseball. Someone I could watch the game with. Like a little version of me. For the first time in my life, I actually had something to look forward to. And what do I get? Some poetry-writing pansy who's too afraid to open his mouth. All I wanted was someone to relate to. But I'm such a failure I couldn't even get that right.
Strangely enough, despite his actions, he genuinely does try. Reading Jerry a book at night, restricting Jerry from Halloween because he's too young for him, saying I love you. I mean, like, he's an asshole. Out of everything, out of all of the series, he's an asshole. But all of these things are him trying his best, and yet Jerry doesn't really react to any of this, just staying silent and looking down. This makes me think that Jerry's birth wasn't planned at all. It was an accident from Jerry's dad and Joanna. He wasn't meant to be born in the first place. Despite this difficult situation that they both put themselves up, Jerry's dad still tries but struggles to connect with his own child. And this short does a really great job at that. That's why it seems like Jerry's dad gave up on connecting with children, except for the moment when he met Jerry. Despite his flaws, I kind of feel bad for him, because he keeps trying to be good, but ultimately giving up. When Jerry returns back home, you can say he's in a much worse state than before, having lost the only person that seemed to care for him, and now realizing how much of a disappointment he is to his dad. His hair starts to slowly fade back into the usual black hair, as a way to suggest that he's going back to his old self, the one where he's weak and wants to keep everything the same. As he rides his bike around, he encounters someone familiar. Jerry as an adult in the whole series is nothing special. He is a person that just keeps going in life, and maybe there's something that breaks the routine, but that's about it. He just sticks to whatever works for him in his routine. It's strange because he seems fine. Why should he change his routine? It doesn't affect me or others. It's hard to tell who Jerry was from a glance. When the show came out originally, we didn't know anything about his childhood or his relationship with his parents, or how after he passes away, what does he do with his child? It's weird. I don't know how to exactly answer this. I want to believe that Jerry does want to do something exciting besides sleeping with other people, working at a grocery store, eating the same boring cereal. But as time passes, we forget the ambition he wants to achieve, and so he's stuck in this cycle, not knowing when he can break it and experience something similar that he once did when he first opened the closet. Overall, I just really love this series. It gives a wider perspective of how each person lives their whole life, exploring the difficulties in each person must tackle. What HotDiggedyDemon tackles was so ahead of its time for the early ages of animation on the internet, and shouldn't be seen as these shorts trying to be edgy for the sake of edgy. But because HotDiggedyDemon generally wanted to tell a story about the difficulties of how hard life in general can be for humans, through the lens of animation.